Have you ever wondered how doctors deal with the inevitability of death in their profession? A question that stirs a whirlwind of emotions, and yet, it's a stark reality that medical professionals face day in and day out. In this world where life and death often hang by a slender thread, doctors play a crucial role, a role that often requires them to pronounce that thread severed. Today, we delve into the world of medicine, a realm where miracles and tragedies coexist. We tread on the path of a doctor whose journey was marked by an unforgettable night, a night that encapsulated the harsh reality of their profession. This is a tale of a doctor who, during a night call, had to confront the inevitable, the pronouncement of death. As medical professionals, doctors are trained to deal with the most critical situations, to fight against all odds, to bring hope where there seems to be none. Yet there are times when even their vast knowledge, their relentless efforts, and their unwavering determination fall short against the relentless march of death. It's a part of their job that they never get used to, a part that leaves a lasting impact on their lives. This story is a testament to such an experience. It's about a doctor who was just starting their shift, ready to face another night filled with unpredictability. Little did they know, that night was going to be different. That night was going to be a stark reminder of the fragility of life. In the quiet corridors of the hospital, amid the beeping monitors and the hushed whispers, the doctor received a call that was not out of the ordinary, yet it was about to be an extraordinary experience for them. It was a call that would bring them face to face with the harsh reality of their profession, a call that would remind them of the delicate balance between life and death. The night was still young when the call came through, a call that would change the doctor's perspective forever. It was a call that would etch a profound mark on their professional journey, a call that would redefine their understanding of life and death. Night shifts in a hospital can be eerie, silent except for the intermittent beeping of machines and the soft whispers of nurses. The hum of the fluorescent lights overhead casts long spectral shadows that dance across the sterile white floors. This is the world that the night shift doctor steps into, a world suspended between the mundane and the macabre. The hospital at night is a ship sailing through the dark, its halls echoing with the hushed conversations of the overnight crew and the occasional rustling of medical charts. It's an atmosphere that's both tranquil and tense, a paradox that only those who have walked these corridors in the wee hours can truly understand. The doctor on duty, clad in a white coat, is the captain of this ship. Their stethoscope, a symbol of their authority and expertise, hangs around their neck, its cold metal a constant reminder of the responsibility they bear. Their eyes, weary yet vigilant, scan the patient charts and monitor screens, ever alert to the slightest change. At the start of the shift, the doctor's mindset is a mirror of the hospital itself, calm, composed, yet braced for the unexpected. There's a sense of anticipation mixed with a touch of apprehension. This, after all, is a world where the line between life and death is tread upon every single day. The doctor's feelings are a mosaic of many hues. There's the steadfast determination to do their best for every patient, the quiet pride in their ability to make a difference, however small. But there's also the gnawing anxiety that accompanies the ticking of the clock, the knowledge that every second counts in this battle against time and disease. As the night deepens, the doctor settles into the rhythm of the shift, their routine punctuated by rounds, consultations, and the ever-present paperwork. It's a dance they've come to know well, a dance choreographed by the demands of their profession and the beat of their own commitment. Little did the doctor know this shift would be unlike any other. Suddenly, the silence was shattered by the sharp, insistent ringing of the telephone. The stillness of the night, once a soothing balm, was now replaced by an urgency that sent the doctor's pulse racing. The call had come. The voice on the other end was frantic, hurried words spilling over each other, painting a grim picture. A patient, condition deteriorating rapidly, was fighting for every breath. The doctor's mind spun into overdrive, each word from the nurse acting as a puzzle piece in the formation of a clinical picture. Adrenaline coursed through the doctor's veins, propelling them into action. Their steps were swift and measured, a testament to years of training and countless nights spent in the unforgiving fluorescent light of the hospital. The doctor's hands, steady and sure, reached for the necessary equipment, their movements a well-rehearsed dance of life-saving measures. The patient lay on the bed, a fragile shell battling against the relentless tide of their illness. Their breaths were shallow, their skin slick with sweat. The doctor's eyes took in the scene, their mind racing to connect the dots, to find a way to pull the patient back from the precipice. And then, the fight began. The doctor, the nurses, the entire medical team threw themselves into the battle against the unseen enemy. Their hands moved deftly, their voices a chorus of commands and updates, their eyes never straying from the monitors displaying the patient's vital signs. Medications were administered, procedures were performed, and words of encouragement were whispered, each one a beacon of hope in the face of overwhelming odds. The clock ticked on relentlessly, each second a testament to the struggle unfolding within the sterile confines of the hospital room. The team worked tirelessly, their collective efforts a symphony of life-saving measures. But despite their best efforts, the tide of the battle began to turn. The patient's vital signs faltered, their breaths became labored, and their eyes, once filled with fight, now mirrored the exhaustion seeping into every corner of the room. Despite the doctor's best efforts, the patient slipped away. The moment had come, a moment every doctor dreads, the pronouncement of death. And it's not just about uttering the words, but the weight they carry. It's a ritual that marks the end of a life, where the doctor transitions from a healer to a bearer of finality. It's a process steeped in medical protocol, yet fraught with human emotion. The doctor checks for signs of life one last time. The stethoscope rests on the chest that once housed a beating heart. The absence of rhythm, the silence is deafening. It's a void that no medical intervention can fill. The doctor is trained to save lives, but in this moment, they must accept that this life can no longer be saved. The pronouncement is more than just a medical declaration. It's a deeply personal moment, where the doctor grapples with their own feelings of failure, loss, and grief. They might ask themselves, could I have done more? Was there another path we could have taken? This is not a task performed in isolation. It reverberates through the hospital corridors, affecting everyone from nurses to cleaning staff. It's a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the inevitable endpoint we all face. The moment of pronouncement also carries a profound significance. It's not just the end of a life, but the beginning of a process of mourning for the loved ones left behind. It's the doctor's duty to deliver this news with empathy, to provide comfort in the face of the unthinkable. The doctor must also document the time of death, a simple act that carries a heavy burden. This timestamp is not merely a record in a chart, but a marker of a life lived and lost. It's a reminder of the humanity behind the medical profession, of the lives touched and the stories left unfinished. The pronouncement of death is a solemn duty, an intimate and profound part of a doctor's role. It's a moment of silence, of reflection, of acceptance. It's a moment that signals the end of one journey and the start of another. With a heavy heart, the doctor pronounced the time of death. In the wake of death, the hospital room seemed to grow colder, quieter. The stillness that follows the pronouncement of death is a profound one, a moment of silence that reverberates through the room, echoing the finality of what has just occurred. The machinery that once hummed with life now sits idle. The monitors, once flashing vital signs, now display a solemn flat line. The room, once a battlefield against disease and decay, becomes a silent witness to the inevitable end of life. The doctor who led this battle is left in the aftermath, a sense of loss enveloping him. For him, each death isn't just a patient lost, but a battle lost in the relentless war against disease. It's a moment that demands reflection, a pause to honor the life that once was. Despite the countless times he's faced this, each loss feels uniquely personal, a quiet reminder of the fragility of life. Around him, the medical staff cope in their own ways. Nurses, who have spent hours, days, sometimes weeks tending to the patient, often feel the loss deeply. They share silent glances, a mutual understanding of the pain that doesn't need words. They find solace in their shared experience, their collective strength a bulwark against the tide of grief. Administrative staff, too, bear the weight of the loss. They had become familiar with the patient's name, their condition, their story. They may not have had the direct contact that doctors and nurses did, but the impact is still felt, a ripple effect that touches every corner of the hospital. Yet, amid the sorrow, there's a resolve that permeates the air, a renewed determination to continue their work, to fight harder, to save more lives. It's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a silent promise that every loss fuels the pursuit of victory in the next battle. Death is a part of life, even in a place dedicated to healing. In the silence of the night, the doctor found a moment to reflect. In the stillness, the doctor felt the weight of their role, of the responsibility they carried. They understood that within the sterile walls of the hospital, life and death often danced a delicate waltz, each step measured, each beat echoing in the rhythm of heart monitors and steady respirations. The doctor realized, as they often did in these quiet moments, that their profession was not just about healing. It was also about understanding and accepting the inevitability of death. It was about helping others navigate that inevitability with grace, dignity, and as little pain as possible. Death, they understood, was not a failure, but a part of the natural cycle of life. A cycle they were privileged to witness every day, in every heartbeat, in every breath, in every pair of eyes that met theirs in search of comfort, understanding, or simply a hand to hold. But this experience, this night, had also taught them something else. Something about the resilience of the human spirit, about the strength that could be found even in the most difficult moments. They had seen a life end, yes, but they had also seen a lifetime of love, of memories, of shared smiles and tears encapsulated in a single, final breath. The doctor realized that every life they touched, every patient they cared for, was a story of triumphs and struggles, of love and loss, of moments both ordinary and extraordinary. And they, in their role as a physician, were but a brief character in those stories, stepping in at some of the most critical junctures. The doctor understood that their profession was not merely a job, but a calling to serve, to heal, and when healing was no longer an option, to provide comfort, peace, and dignity in death. Through the experience of death, the doctor found a deeper understanding of life. So, what can we learn from this doctor's experience? The reality is, death is an inherent part of medicine. It's not an easy concept to grapple with, nor is it something we can conveniently sweep under the rug. Whether it's a quiet passing in the stillness of the night or an unexpected tragedy, the finality of it all serves as a stark reminder of our own mortality. It's a heavy burden to bear, this mingling of life and death, especially during a night shift when the world outside is shrouded in darkness. The hospital corridors echo with the hush of sleeping patients, punctuated by the occasional beeping of monitors. Amid this, a phone call can sometimes bring the devastating news that another life has slipped away. Pronouncing death, the very act of acknowledging the end, is a profound responsibility that doctors shoulder. It's a moment that requires not just medical expertise, but also a deep well of empathy and understanding. It's about recognizing the person behind the patient, the life that was lived, and the loved ones left behind. The aftermath, as one might expect, is a whirlwind of emotions. There's grief, of course, but often it's accompanied by a sense of helplessness, a questioning of one's abilities. It's in these moments that we must remember to allow ourselves the space to feel, to process, and to heal. We're not just doctors, after all, we're human beings too. Reflection is a powerful tool in these circumstances. It allows us to gain perspective, to understand that while we strive to save lives, we cannot always change the course of nature. It's a sobering thought, but one that can also bring a sense of peace and acceptance. In conclusion, the importance of empathy and understanding in the medical profession cannot be overstated. It's not just about diagnosing diseases or performing surgeries, it's about connecting with people on a deeply human level. In the face of death, we are reminded of our shared humanity, a lesson that extends far beyond the hospital walls.